So we're just gonna, once again, gonna roll it up and then keep patting it and making it nice and smooth. Now be careful when you roll your hands across this, if you might catch the tip of a pen.
Now, as a general rule, does it make any difference whether I put the top on first or the back on first?
None.
And do we want to roll this all the way up, or do we need to have a little bit hanging down?
Let's go ahead and roll it all the way up, and
Okay.
then when we get our machine on, we can unroll it just a little bit to attach it to this cloth, okay?
Okay.
Okay, Jennifer, before we go ahead and attach our backing to our take-up leader cloth, we want to put our machine on. And
Okay.
to put our machine on, we have to take this rail off,
All
okay?
right, so how do we take the rail off?
There are two little buttons that you squeeze together, and then the top of the ratchet assembly comes right off, okay? And then all you do is lift the rail straight up.
Easy enough.
That's all there is to it.
Okay, well, let me grab that machine.
Okay.
Okay, so now that we've got the machine on the frame, what do we need to do with this rod?
Let's go ahead and put it back through the neck of the machine.
Okay, so it
And then
goes
put it back
between
in the ratcheting.
the needle and the back of the machine.
Yes.
Okay.
Uh-huh. Then you're going to put your ratchet assembly back on.
Okay.
Remember that the knob goes on the outside, and you want to hear that click. Okay?
Perfect.
Now, if you unlock the ratchet assembly just by turning the knob at the top, and we also want to unlock the ratchet assembly on the back, we're going to bring this take-up leader to meet our backing, and we're going to pin it right on with our T-pins.
Okay, and again, we've got,
We're going to pin through the hem again, and again we have the right side against the right side of the leader this time. It's just easier for me to hold that way.
okay. So we have the right side of the backing fabric against the right side of the hem.
Correct.
Okay, so I'm probably going to mark my leader cloths with that little helpful hint too. So when we had the rail off the frame this time, it would be possible to have turned it around and put it back in
It would be
either
very
way.
easy to do that, yes.
So it might be helpful as well to mark this end with left and that end with right, so that when I'm standing at the front of the frame, I'm always sure to put it back the correct way.
That would be a great idea.
And about the same distance with the pins here
Yes.
too?
I
Okay.
just want it not to have any gaps in it, so that it'll roll up nice and smooth for you.
And then again, using my lines here to make sure that I'm aligned here and aligned here.
Yes.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, now that we have it all pinned to it, what we're going to do is take up this roll. We need to turn our little locks back so that we can hear that clicking when we're rolling it.
Okay.
This one is still unlocked. The one with the backing on it is still unlocked. And we're going to roll it till we have just meeting the pins, okay? Then we're going to lock these back.
Okay.
And we're going to make this firm. We don't want it real tight, but we do want it firm, no sagging. This looks pretty good, Jennifer. Now let's put the batting in, okay? What we're going to do, if you have a long length of batting, you may want to roll it on this rail, but if you have a short length, you can just drape it on it. If you do roll it on the rail, you want to roll it really loose. If you have it too tight, when you roll up the quilt on the take-up rail, you may stretch the batting, and then when you take it off, your batting's
It'll
going
all
to shrink
pucker
up.
up.
Okay?
Okay.
So what we're going to do is we're going to put it right side up.
Now, I had never heard that there was a right side to the batting. How do I tell which one is which?
Okay, when you look at a piece of batting, you can see where the needle punch has gone through. You know, most batting is needle punched. You want to make sure that your needle goes through the batting the same way they've needle punched it, okay? So we want this to be up like this. We're just going to lay it right here, right at our pinned edge. Okay, once we get the batting laid on top of the backing, we're just going to drape it in between the second and the third rail.
Okay.
Now we want to unlock the ratcheting assembly on this rail here so that we can pull the top up. So let's just turn those things around so that we can pull it up. And all you're going to do is lay it right up on top of this nice and straight.
And again, those wonderful markings on the leader cloth are going to help to keep us aligned.
Keep you straight. Now we want to get a few of our T-pins Jennifer, it's important to get the backing, the batting, and the top all pinned together. So what we're going to do is just lay it all on top and just run a row of our T-pins down through here to stabilize it all the way across until we get our first row of quilting done.
Okay, and so it's just through the top, the batting, and the backing. We don't have to worry about the leader.
No, because our backing is attached to our leader.
Okay.
We're almost ready to start quilting, Jennifer.
I'm so excited. It's amazing how different the quilt looks once you start to add the quilting to the piece to the top.
So creative. All right, Jennifer, what we're going to do now is we have our batting just floating here, so we need to turn our locks back. So this looks nice, Jennifer. Now we can put our bungee cords on.
All right.
We have 4 bungee cords that come with our Bernina frame. This is to help stabilize the sides of the quilt to keep it from being
It's
loose.
a little saggy.
Yeah. So what you're going to do is put it through this little
Through the eyelet here on the handle?
on the handle. Yes.
Okay.
And it's real easy to work. All you do is just pull it up and it locks it. Okay?
Oh, easy enough.
What you want to do is attach it to your quilt first.
Anywhere special?
You want to make sure you get your backing and your batting, and depending on how close you're quilting to the edge of the top, you could attach it to it if you wanted. But if you're going right to the edge with your quilting, you may want to base that edge instead. Then you're just going to pull your little arm over and pull your bungee up through it, and you are ready to go. There's 4 of them. We have 1 for each arm.
Okay, now how snug should this be?
Just firm.
Okay.
You don't want it
Just
to
keep it
distort it. Yeah, you don't want to distort it at all. You might even want to move it up just a little bit. Put 1 here and 1 here.
Okay.
How's that?
Good.
Looks great. Jennifer, one last thing we need to make sure of is that where the fabric comes off of the take-up rail and goes over to the rail here, it needs to be flat. It needs to ride right on the bed of the machine so that there's not any flapping going on up and down. If for some reason it's not parallel to the floor, you can adjust it here just by removing this bolt and nut and moving the assembly up or down, whichever way you need it to go.
Okay, and I would do that at both ends.
Yes, you want both ends to be exactly the same. Yes. You want to make sure that you keep up with your tools, because when you use a different machine, it has to have a different height on it. So if you're quilting with 2 different machines at home, you'll want to change the settings for that. So keep your tools handy. Okay, I think we're ready. Okay, Jennifer, let's talk about a few of the accessories we have for the machine today.
Okay.
We have a gooseneck right here. It's adjustable. It attaches to the front crossbar, and it also comes with a replacement bulb. You can just zoom right down in on the tight area where you're working.
Oh, that'll be wonderful, especially for some of the dark fabrics and dark threads.
It will work well. You also have a speed control. The speed control has a start-stop button, a pulse button to raise your needle up and down, and a control for the speed to help regulate your speed.
So I use this to turn the machine on and off as I'm stitching, or
Yes.
to activate the needle as I'm stitching, so
Yes,
I don't
you
have
do.
to reach around.
That's true.
Okay.
Okay. We also have, of course, the Bernina stitch regulator that comes with our 730 and 830. But if you were quilting on a different machine, you would be able to purchase this to go with the classical machines. And we also have Quilt CAD software that you can create your own designs for quilting, or you can use many of their designs and print it out and use it like a pantograph or just a block quilt that you could use.
Oh, that would be wonderful. And then what about these?
These are called Pattern Perfect templates. These come a set of about 8 or 9. They hook together like so. You lay them on the table of your machine and put a little screw through this little hole to hold them in place, and then you attach a stylus to the side of the machine, and it just runs right through that groove, so you have a perfect pattern. You can combine the patterns like such, or you can turn it over and combine the patterns, either way.
So with my Pattern Perfect and my Bernina stitch regulator, I really can't make a mistake as
You
I'm
really
quilting.
can't.
Oh, this is great. Can we quilt?
Sure, let's do it. Let's go.
Denise, this was wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing your tips and tricks for putting together the Bernina quilt frame. It was so much easier than I had anticipated, and loading the quilt took hardly any time at all. This is fantastic.
Great, Jennifer. It really is easy. And if you have any trouble or have any questions, be sure and contact your Bernina dealer. And they also carry all the accessories that we showed you today.
Excellent.
Okay, let's do some quilting.